Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, where our expert from Google is going to share AdWords strategies for fixed ops. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by DEALERUN. And for anyone who isn't familiar with DEALERUN, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency, best known for our search engine optimization, best-in-class customer service, and our award-winning websites. DEALERUN was named the top-rated website provider by Driving Sales in 2011, and DEALERUN customers were winners of the Spring 2012 Digital Dealer Website Excellence Awards. DEALERUN is so committed to lead conversion, optimization, and customer service that we are the only company in the industry to offer a lead guarantee program. Oh yeah, lead guarantee program. So if your website company isn't guaranteeing you leads, then maybe you should check us out at DEALERUN.com. And we have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have Mariana Crapola as our presenter today. Mariana Crapola is an industry strategist on Google's Dealer Jumpstart team, which helps car dealers embrace digital solutions. Their team collaborates with auto groups, individual dealers, and OEMs to generate business with Google tools in an age where smartphones rule and everything is on YouTube. Mariana has worked at Google's Ann Arbor, Michigan office since 2011, all the while working directly with dealers on their digital marketing strategies. And we're very pleased to have her here today. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we're going to answer those questions of general interest. And if we're unable to get to your question live, don't worry, we're going to respond by email later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of the webinar recording is going to be emailed to you later today for your reference. And please feel free to share it with friends and colleagues. And guess what? Our good friends at Google are offering up some prizes today for you, our dear attendees. So all you have to do is go to the DEALERUN Google Plus page and answer a simple question. That's all. The address is on the screen, so go now. And the question that you'll see there is, what's your favorite AdWords feature? That's an easy question. So give us a decent answer and you'll be winning some Google swag today. Also, at the conclusion of the webinar, you'll receive a short survey. Please fill it out, as we're always looking for some quality feedback from our audience. And today we're going to randomly select winners from all completed surveys to get some Google swag. So let's get started. Let's learn about the best AdWords strategies for fixed ops. Mariana, how are you today? Mariana?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Ah, there you are. There you are.
Hello.
So glad you're here, and so glad you've come here to talk to dealers today about AdWords for fixed ops. I think AdWords as a whole is something that all dealers are getting involved in, but when it comes to fixed ops, well, that's a whole nother story. So I know we have a lot of dealers out there who are really, really interested in this subject, and we're very pleased to have you today. So tell us, what are we going to be learning today?
Thanks, Eliana. Yeah, I'm very excited about the webinar as well. But before we begin, I would love to learn how many of our current listeners are already using AdWords for their fixed ops business. So could we switch to the poll first to ask that question?
I think that's a great idea. So everyone, we're asking you to get involved nice and early. What I'd like you to do is everyone please look at your screen and answer the question before you. It's a pretty simple one. So are you currently running AdWords for fixed ops? Please select one of the following answers. Yes, we handle it in-house. Yes, we have an agency do it for us. Nope, not just yet. Or no, but I'm hoping to start after this webinar. So once we get a majority of the votes, we're going to close the poll and share the results. And I always like doing this during my poll questions, Mariana, but what do you think the top answer is going to be?
From what I've sensed talking to a number of dealers across the country, I have a sense that not a whole lot of dealers have dipped their toe into advertising for their fixed ops businesses yet. I think most dealers are still very much focused on advertising new and used cars online, and maybe still trying to figure out what's the best way to get those that side of the business to work and get the right ROI. And focusing there. But I think, all of those learnings are easily translatable to fixed ops, which is why we wanted to focus on this topic for the webinar today.
absolutely. And you know what? Almost everyone's voted, so I'm going to close the poll and share the results with you. And everyone, you'll be able to see the results yourselves on the screen as well. So you know what? You're pretty spot on there, let me tell you. 32% of our attendees today said yes, we handle it in-house. 19% said yes, we have an agency do it for us. 22 said no, not yet. And 27% said no, but I'm hoping to start after this webinar. And when we really look at it, basically 51% said yes and 49% said no. So how's that?
Very interesting. Yeah, this is a very impressive array of adoption rates so far. So hopefully we can provide some insights and strategies for everyone, regardless of where you are as far as your maturity with adopting AdWords for fixed ops.
Yes, and thank you, dealers. We always love your feedback, and thank you for getting involved with that. And let's get started.
Let's do that. Okay, so here's our agenda for today. We are really want to focus on how we can drive more business to your service base. First, I'm going to jump into some of the key trends we're seeing in vehicle maintenance shopping. Then we're going to dive into how these trends manifest at your dealership lot. And then finally, we're going to close with some actionable strategies to get more service and parts customers through online marketing. So we all know that drivers want their cars to hum. So they're out there shopping for service and parts whenever their cars aren't working the way they should. And it's really interesting when we dive into the queries that we see on Google.com because there's some very stark trends as far as seasonality for these queries. So specifically here in the graph, we've charted the trend in queries since 2007 to the present. And as you can see in that orange space in the middle, these queries tend to peak during the summer, which indicates that there are more service shoppers out there looking for maintenance type of keywords when they're searching on Google. So I thought that was a very interesting point to illustrate. And then another interesting trend here is at the end of the year, right after Christmas probably, there's a huge uptick of shoppers. And I'm not sure if that's because, there's people out there wanting to, enhance their vehicles, or, maybe they need some winter maintenance. But that's another key time of the year to really focus on your service business to capture that traffic. The last trend I wanted to point out on this graph is the gray line up top, which indicates the search queries for 2012. And as you can see, the rise that's kind of been indicated from January to June is much steeper than it's been in any previous year. So what this means is that this is a really great opportunity to start capturing more traffic as more shoppers are going online to search for either service or parts to fix their vehicles. Moving on, I think one of the interesting parts that we like to look into for our query trends are macroeconomic trends. So we know that Americans drive the most in July and August. And in fact, in July of 2011, Americans drove 260 billion miles, which is enough to circle the Earth 10,000 times. So if you think of all those vehicles on the road, it's not hard to imagine that quite a few of them are going to need a spare part, or have some service done to make sure that they can go on all the vacations and trips that they've planned for the summer. Another key macroeconomic trend that I'm sure all dealers are very aware of on the sales side of their businesses is the fact that used cars are much older today than they ever have been before. In fact, the average used car is about 11 years old on the road, which means that they're going to need some fine-tuning. They're not in the best shape possible. So if shoppers aren't really ready to trade in their vehicles or buy a new one, then the best way to get to them is probably sell them some service or parts. The final macroeconomic trend that we're seeing is that consumer spending is finally on its way up. So in the fourth quarter, consumer spending rose 3%, and that also includes spending for auto services. So spending there also increased 3%. Another interesting study that I recently read by AutoMD found that 44% of car owners have held onto their cars longer because they've been more vigilant about service and repairs. So that means if they're not really ready to buy a new car, they might be ready to fix, any major parts for their older vehicles. Next, let's look at some of the specific services or parts that shoppers might be visiting your dealerships for. So here we have, again, search trends, Q1 2011 compared to Q1 of 2012 compared to Q1 of 2011. And as you can see, queries are up. So for tires, there are 16% more queries in 2012 than there were in 2011. For oil changes, it's 23%, and batteries, it's 10%, and finally for brakes, it's 17%. Overall, we're seeing more miles driven, an aging fleet, increased consumer spending, and an uplift in search volume, all of which suggests that you have the potential to win more parts and service customers to your dealership. Your challenge is to effectively capture that demand, and we'll show you how to do that later on in the presentation.
Now, Mariana, I know you're on the dealer jumpstart team, but those numbers look really high, 23% increase, 17% increase. Is that normal, or do you think that that is just the auto industry, the fixed ops part of the auto industry is something completely different and you're not seeing those kind of jumps in other kinds of queries for other businesses?
I would say in the auto space in general, queries continue to grow very rapidly. I think auto shopping behavior has shifted dramatically over the past couple of years, increasingly online. And, if people are shopping for cars online, they're probably also shopping for services and parts online as well. In contrast, I'd say some other, so to speak, more mature industries online, like maybe e-commerce, those adoption rates really picked up in the mid-2000s. So we're not seeing as high growth, but I wouldn't say that those numbers are very far off of the general trends for auto.
Huh. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. So every year, Google does kind of a proprietary study with a partner called Compete, where we study the click behavior of vehicle shoppers as well as vehicle service and parts shoppers to better understand what they're doing online and what's driving them to purchase. So last year, when we did this study, we found that 58% of service shoppers are looking to perform routine maintenance. So your oil changes, maybe some brake repairs, things that every car needs to have done on a frequent basis. The second highest category was to perform light repair, which was 35% of shoppers. And then the third bucket, which you'll see later on in the presentation, was the vehicle performance and appearance enhancement. So 22% of shoppers were searching for these types of services. And again, I want you to keep that in mind because there's going to be more information about how that relates to dealerships later on in the presentation. But for now, we'd love to pause again for another poll where we're going to look into some of the purchase behavior of service shoppers. So Eliana, go ahead.
That would be great. Okay, everyone, we want you to get involved yet again. So I am going to launch the next poll question. And this really, we just want to know what you think. So how quickly do you think a service shopper turns from research, online research or whatever, to actually going and purchasing something? What do you think it is? Do you think it's within 24 hours? Do you think it's within a week? Do you think it's 2 weeks to a month? Or do you think it takes them over a month? How long do you think it takes them to go from research to purchase? And of course, once we get a majority of the votes. We're going to close the poll and share the results, because I'm sure that our speaker, Mariana Crapola, actually has the answer to this question. Don't you? You do, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, but I am curious to see what dealers think is happening with their, the clients that they see in their dealerships. Okay, everyone, we do have a lot of people that have voted, so we want to thank you for your votes, and we're going to close the poll and share the results. So 66% of today's attendees believe that service shoppers turn from research to purchase within 24 hours. And we have 34% of our attendees today who think it takes more like a week. And we have no one who thinks it takes 2 weeks or a month or more. So what do you think, Mariana? Does that sound right?
Man, we have some smart attendees.
I tell you, man, we got some forward-thinking people coming to my shows, don't we?
They know what they're doing out there.
They do.
And yeah, absolutely. So again, in the proprietary Google study, what we found was that 69%, so almost 70% of shoppers buy within 1 day of purchase. So that's not a huge surprise, since, if your car is broken, obviously you need to get it fixed in order to get it back on the road. But I would say, this is a very stark comparison to some of the other shopping behavior. So vehicle shopping, for example, is highly skewed for, many months out. So I think this is an important distinction to keep in mind when you are setting your AdWords campaigns, because there's a sense of immediacy that you need to really grab onto that customer quickly, otherwise they're going to go somewhere else. So with that, I'd love to transition into the next poll, where we're going to look into a little bit deeper about the behavior of what shoppers are doing on search when they're looking for service or parts.
That's a great idea. Thank you, Mariana. Okay, everyone, one last poll question. We want to know how well you do think you know your clients. So how many times do you think a service shopper actually searches online? It's a very tricky question. Do you think they just search once and done? You think maybe it's more like twice, 3 to 4 times, 5 to 9 times? Or do you think service shoppers are going on over 10 times to find the information that they're looking for? Votes are coming in fast and furious right now, Mariana. I'm looking forward to seeing what our very, very smart attendees think on this last question, since they've already gotten the first 2 pretty accurately.
Yeah.
I know, we got some smart people. Well, they have to be smart. They're coming to your webinar, right? Okay. You know what? I think we're going to stop right now, because we have almost everyone voting. We want to thank you for your votes. We're going to close the poll and share the results with you. Here we go. So let's see. What is the winner? We have a majority of the people think that it's 3 to 4 times. They think 36% of our attendees today think that service shoppers go 3 to 4 times online before they finally wind up purchasing something. We have 33% of our attendees today think it's more like twice. What's the next one? Oh, 13% of our attendees think it's over 10 times. And then we have 10% thinking it's 5 to 9 times, and only 8% of today's attendees think it's just once. Does that sound about right to you, Mariana?
Fairly close, although I would say it seems like it's even further skewed to the higher number of queries than some of the pollers answered. So what we're seeing is 84% of shoppers are searching more than once, but nearly half are searching more than 5 times. So this data is really important when you kind of compare it to, or kind of think about it in conjunction with the previous slide, where people are making decisions within a 24-hour period, but that doesn't mean that they're only they're doing minimal research. They're putting in numbers and numbers of search queries. So this gives you quite a few opportunities to kind of win them over online to make sure that they come to your dealership versus selecting one of the national service chains or a local independent service store instead. So I wanted to make sure that you guys keep these facts in mind, because it can definitely influence how you set up your AdWords campaigns.
Now, I'm curious. I'm going to throw a question at you. I don't know if I'm throwing the right one, but I'm just curious. Do you think that when they go and they're searching, 5 times, 10 times, are they comparison shopping, or are they just looking, to find what they're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely, again, in our proprietary study, there's definitely a lot of comparison shopping going on. But it is interesting how there's kind of a balance between, shoppers who know exactly the brand they want to start with versus shoppers who don't. So I'd say in the new vehicle side, shoppers tend to be very, very brand focused quite early on in the shopping process, whereas on the service side, there's not as much loyalty to a certain brand, which is maybe why they're willing and exhibiting so much research before they purchase, because they want to know that they're getting the right price. They want to know that they're going somewhere where they're going to have good customer service. So, especially for a more expensive repair, it probably makes sense for them to be doing a lot of research before selecting their provider.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So with that, let's look at what service and parts shoppers are doing at your dealership. So first of all, I want to point out that dealer sites are the second most common online purchase location when they're searching or scheduling a service for their car. And you can kind of look at this data with a glass half empty or glass half full. So glass half full is its second most common place to purchase online. Glass half empty, 35%, so 1 in 3 shoppers are going to the national stores. So more often than not, dealers are getting beat out by your AutoZones, Pet Boys, Midas, all of these kind of national retail stores that are providing service or parts for shoppers. And I think this is a good point to think about for your dealership. Why would shoppers be selecting those national service stores instead of your dealership? Do they know that your dealership services all makes and models, or is there a presumption that that you would only service the vehicles that you sell? Or maybe your service bays aren't open at times that are convenient for shoppers. So all of these factors are important to consider for understanding this data and why service shoppers might be choosing other locations instead of dealerships. And then this next slide dives even deeper into this deep data. So as I had indicated earlier, I wanted you to remember that 22% of shoppers are looking to enhance the performance or appearance of their vehicles. Well, this data shows that dealerships are the top place that shoppers go for this type of maintenance, or I guess detailing really. So if that's a specialty that your dealership can provide, that might be an area where you really want to focus your AdWords campaigns so that you can win as much business as possible for your dealership on that side. I think another interesting point here too to show is that for the repair and maintenance side, again, the national service stores are taking the vast majority of this business. So really look into your business and understand, what might be some competitive advantages that your dealership has over those national service stores, and then use that information as a way to kind of broadcast that value proposition online with AdWords.
Mariana, I just have a quick question for you. From the last slide, we actually had a couple of people who wrote in, and they said that they're asking you to please define what a retailer service site is. That was from the slide before, yeah.
Okay. Oh, that would be like a Costco, Sears, essentially Walmart, any kind of store that provides, service and parts, but obviously provides tons of other stuff as well. So it's not really, a service and parts.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you very much for clearing that up for us. Apologize for for interrupting your flow.
Yeah, those are totally good questions to ask. So now, transitioning, so those first couple slides were really focused on the service side of the business, and these next three actually really focus on the part side. So next, our study found that for the parts side, national stores take an overwhelming majority of this business. So as you can see, for offline purchases, national parts stores are winning 55% of the business, and online they're winning 43% of the business. And just to provide some definitions, those national parts stores that would include Napa, AutoZone, Pep Boys, etc. Whereas in comparison, only 10% of shoppers are buying parts at the dealership, and in turn only 1% of shoppers are buying parts on dealership sites. So I mean, if you're really trying to grow your parts dealership, you're not just competing with the other dealers in your neighborhood. You're competing with the national parts stores. You're competing with Costco and Sears. So you're competing with the local parts stores offline. And then online, there are a number of other players that get introduced. So you have your independent seller sites like eBay or Craigslist, and then aftermarket sites such as Jiffy Lube or Pep Boys. So the competition is pretty tough, but I think if a dealership has some effective AdWords campaigns, they, and has competitive bids and great ads, which we'll go into later, there's no reason why this 1% couldn't grow and dealerships couldn't capture a greater share of this online parts business. So our study also looked into why certain customers might be purchasing offline versus online. So 66% of shoppers purchased offline because they needed the part immediately. So that may be because they didn't want to wait to get the product to ship to their homes, or maybe they wanted to see the part in person to really know that they're getting the right part. But I think this is a good point to keep in mind for maybe your ad text that you might consider for your AdWords campaigns, to really focus on the immediacy and why a dealership to come, or sorry, why a shopper should come to your dealership to get the parts rather than shop online. Next, we also looked into the drivers for purchasing online, and here we really saw that the trend was that shoppers were buying online because they were finding better prices. And again, I want to highlight that only 1% of shoppers purchase parts from dealership sites. And I think, and I could be wrong, we probably should have done a poll question about this, but one of the driving factors for this is that most dealers do not have their inventory posted online, let alone the pricing. So if a shopper is looking for a certain part online, they're not going to, if they can't find it on your dealership site, you're automatically going to lose that business to your aftermarket parts or the national retail stores. And I think this is a critical issue that dealers should work on in order to grow their parts business online.
That's really interesting.
So sorry?
Oh, I said that's really interesting. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Okay, so now let's get into what you should do. How do you get more customers to your dealership, and specifically using AdWords? So first, before we dive in, want to kind of debrief or summarize, who your customers are online. So first, they cross-shop cross-shop competing businesses with an open mind. So that means they're considering many options. They're open to new information. They want to make an informed decision, and they're receptive to influence. So they are looking for the best price. They're looking for the best service. So make sure that you make that customers are aware of these value propositions that your dealership might have, because you easily could win them over. Second, they want to find a local service provider that they can trust and recommend. They want to find somebody close to home, and if they find somebody convenient, local, with great service and good value, then they're going to be loyal. So there's kind of a lifetime value opportunity with some of your AdWords campaigns. So if you can bring them in once and give them a great experience, you could win that customer for life and generate a whole lot of business over time, just with some of those early ads. And then thirdly, customers that expect to interact with businesses 24/7 from anywhere using their mobile phones. And this is a trend that we see not only for parts and service, but also for vehicle shopping and pretty much every other category out there. You know, mobile is such a fast-growing technology that you cannot ignore it with your online marketing. So I had mentioned that customers should shop with an open mind. So this means that they're not always typing in AutoZone brake pad. They're not typing in Pep Boys brake repair. They're searching on broader terms, which gives you, as the dealership, an opportunity to get right there in the mix with some of these national retailers. And we also did a study where we found that 55% of parts and service search referrals are non-branded. So again, make sure when you're building your campaigns that you don't focus on just the brands that you service, but also these broader terms. So for example, I live in Ann Arbor, so I would most likely search for something like oil change in Ann Arbor. Make sure you have those locally focused keywords in your campaigns to generate that business. So here is an example of a search that I recently did, again, here in Ann Arbor, to maybe illustrate what's going on in search for the service and parts space. So I went into Google, typed in radiator flush, and added Ann Arbor since that's where I live, and this is what came up. Firestone is in the first place of the yellow box. That's their paid ad, and their ad mentions radiator flush. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of information going on. Auto Tech Clinic, the next one down, lists a price, which could be helpful, but there's not a whole lot of other information again. Whereas Goodyear's ad on the right, here at the top, has their address. So they're 2260 West Stadium, which is great because that actually happens to be 5 blocks from where I live. And then it also says that I can schedule an appointment, yet there's no number to call. So what I'm trying to illustrate here is there's a way to make a good ad online, and there's a way to make a really great ad online. And we'll get into that in the next slide. The other thing that jumped out to me was the organic search results, and you'll see that that's the white area underneath the yellow box. And notice that the top 3 organic search results starting with Find Radiator Flush in Ann Arbor, are all from MLive, which is kind of a local news site, Business Finders page. So if you're a service shop and you hope to win a customer on organic search alone, you probably aren't going to make it because you don't appear in the organic search results at all, which is why advertising becomes that much more important. Similarly, none of the paid or organic results include dealer sites, which might explain why so much service traffic is going to the national stores, because they have such better coverage on searches like this. So I also wanted to do kind of another search to get a different scenario. So we tried brake inspection Chicago. And what came up here is the map, and that is awesome because it gives you a visual, or the customers a visual for where different businesses are. So even with only 2 searches, we begin to see the internet a little bit differently. It's clearly connecting customers with local physical stores. So now I want to dive into an example of a good ad and then a very great ad. So here we have Bell Tires, very good ad, and as a disclaimer, I actually did try to find some dealer ads as my examples, but unfortunately really could not find a whole lot of good examples. So I want to again highlight that as you're developing your online strategy for your fixed ops, that you have a tough market out there to compete with these national stores. So here's the Bell Tire ad, which is great. So in the headline, we see our location, we see the brand name, then the company's website. All of that information is very useful. Then in line 3, there's value message. Get the lowest price in town. And there's a call to action. Visit us today. All of that's really good. And then Bell Tire has even gone the extra mile to connect with customers by adding a store locator link, some links to the top searches on their site, and a direct link to contact information. You know, all of this is very good, and probably, you know, most consumers would find some relevant information here. But in contrast, I want to show you the Sears ad, which is a really great ad because it just goes above and beyond by providing much more information to shoppers. So first, we see the brand name followed right away with the phone number. So that's always very helpful because often shoppers might just be looking for a phone number and they get it right there. They also have these seller ratings. And I know on the vehicle shopping side, a lot of dealers have been hoping to get this seller ratings, but unfortunately, those are only available to advertisers who sell their products through Google Shopping, and dealers have the opportunity to sell their parts through Google Shopping, which would allow them to have those seller ratings. So if you already do that, you have the opportunity to have these stars next to your ad, which kind of gives a second kind of element of validation for the shopper of, hey, you know, other shoppers have approved this store, this service, so I should check them out as well. Like the other ad, it also has your site links directing customers to the kind of top pieces of their website. But another feature that they have, and we'll get into this even further later on, is their address. So it's 18,900 Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. So this tells me exactly where the dealership is, and I can even click on this ad to get directions to that location. So as you can imagine, I am so much, as a customer, I'm so much more equipped with this ad to go to this store than I would with the Bell Tire ad, which was good, but just it didn't have enough of that information. And if you're out there writing notes and want to know more about these extensions, I recommend going to the AdWords Help Center, where you can look up call extensions, which is having your phone number show up, seller rating extensions, which are the stars, location extensions, which is the address and the directions that I mentioned, and then finally you'll want to look up site links, which are the hyperlinks at the bottom of the ad.
And what was the address again to go find those?
Oh, I think it's support. Google it. Google AdWords Help Center.
The funny thing is, I actually had to say that to somebody today. I don't know the answer to that. Why don't you Google it?
Yeah. I think it's support.google.com /AdWords, but I would say the most, I guess, the surest way to get there is to Google it, and you'll find it.
Okay.
So, so I dove into those ads. I also wanted to show how the Sears ad kind of appeared in the rough, in the natural world, so to speak. So again, like this is a great ad. It's right at the top, and it's probably winning a ton of clicks from its competitors. Another really important point to note is that Sears doesn't even appear as the organic listings. So really they're relying on this one ad to drive all of their traffic to their tire business. Now, imagine we're approaching the end of the month and Sears shuts down their ad because they ran out of budget. What I'm going to show you next will prove why it's important to keep your ads running at all times. So let's imagine that the ad isn't there. We have no Sears reference anywhere on our screenshot. Firestone becomes the top result. Based on our studies, Sears would lose 96% of their traffic generated by that ad. Most of the customers who found Sears because of that ad will go somewhere else. So that's why it's critical for you to always be visible to your potential customers. You always want to be found wherever and whenever customers are looking for you. And this goes, this is true obviously in the parts and service space, but also for your vehicle shopping as well. When your ad isn't there, you're losing business to your competitors. So next, let's dive into some of the recommendations for how to help your customers find you as their local service provider versus competitors. So our first recommendation here is maximize your local presence. So make sure that you're targeting a wide enough area that enough customers can find your ad depending on where they're located. And make sure that you're on all of the devices so that if someone is driving and looking for service close to your dealership, that they can find you that way as well. The second important point here, as we kind of illustrated with the Sears example, is be on always. Don't lose impressions because of your budget, because that will just kind of limit the number of customers that you can reach. So next, we recommend that you complement your existing local advertising strategy with online. So have a consistent message across TV, radio, newspapers, and the internet. So let's say you send out a direct mailer for $10 off a oil change or whatever you want to say. If you send that mailer out, make sure that that same language is also evident in your online advertising as well. So you want to have a consistent message regardless of the platform that you're advertising through. So next, make your ads more useful, and we already went through that with the example between the good ad and the great ad. Then the fifth recommendation is to optimize by location. So you don't need a one-size-fits-all strategy. So let's say you have multiple dealer locations, and you might learn that certain keywords, certain ad text might work better in one location versus another. That's really, really great and powerful information. Make sure that you take all that information to your advantage so that you can optimize your campaigns to get the best return on investment in each location based on what you learn. And then finally, use data to refine your performance. Study Google Analytics, use the data in AdWords. All of that information is really important insight for you to better understand your customers, which will help make better decisions on how to generate more customers. So as I had shown in the great ad, the address that appears in those ads, so those are called location extensions. And that really makes ads locally relevant to shoppers. First of all, they take up 4 times the amount of ad space on the search results, especially when you kind of open up the directions window, because you just kind of own the page in that sense. Next, we found that location extensions can drive an average of a 10% increase in CTR, and then also increase conversion rate because you're giving better information on where your business is located. Third, it's a great ad format. It really engages users and allows them to interact with your business. And then finally, we can dynamically associate relevant business addresses with your ads. So again, in the example, if you're part of a large dealer group and you have multiple service locations, we can pull all of those addresses into your account so that the location extension will find the service bay that is closest to their location. The other really great thing about location extensions is that it'll populate with your location in that organic map result that appears on some searches. So here on the right you can see the map, and the red pinpoints or pins indicate all the organic results, whereas the blue pins highlight the paid search results. So again, you know, it's kind of a more eye-catching way to show your business as a unique business and make it easier for them to choose you versus some of the competitors. Oops. We already covered this. Sorry. So next, mobile. We love talking about mobile at Google. It's just such an exciting space. So these initial statistics here are just some general metrics that we found. So 95% of shoppers look for, or I guess smartphone owners really, look for local information on their phones. So I like to think of this as a very kind of lower funnel behavior, because they're not just researching something, they're looking for a business within their kind of geographic area so that they can make a purchase. And in fact, we found that 77% of smartphone owners end up contacting a business because of a result that they found on their smartphone. And this trend, you know, isn't limited or, you know, doesn't exclude parts and service either. So we found today we find that 1 in 3 maintenance queries are on their mobile phone, and that rate has actually grown 5 times in the past 2 years. So if you followed kind of mobile adoption trends across the country, they're just growing exponentially, and we can only imagine that this growth in mobile queries is going to continue at this expedited rate over the next, you know, 5 years at least. And then again on mobile, you have the same opportunity to create very relevant ads for your customers. One very you know, important feature to have are those call extensions that we showed on the desktop search results. So on mobile, we have kind of 2 varieties of this. So on the left here, you see Blue's Italian Restaurant, and underneath you can see the phone number. So this is just called the click-to-call format, where the shopper can either click on Lou's Italian Restaurant and go to their website, or they can click on the phone number and call the business directly. And what we've seen with this ad format is that it creates a 5 to 30% increase in CTR that is incremental to the URL clicks. So it's a really great way if you rely on phone traffic for your dealership servicing, then this is a great way to drive more of those phone calls. And let's say you don't really want customers to go to your mobile website for whatever reason. There's also a call-only format where you the customer only clicks on the ad and they'll call the business directly versus going to their website. So depending on which variation makes sense for your business, both of these are options for you. And again, location extensions. Mobile is a very location-driven platform, as we've shown earlier, and so again, you can use those location extensions for your mobile ads to make it easier for customers to find your business. So, you know, what do you do from here? So First and foremost, make sure that your customers find your ads at all time. We've shown that the national retail stores really dominate these search results pages for key kind of service and parts searches. So you can get right there in the mix with your AdWords campaigns, particularly because more likely than not, shoppers aren't finding you through organic search. Next up, once you start creating your campaigns and make sure they're running all the time, make sure you turn your good ads to great local ads. So all of those features, those extensions that I showed you are completely free. It's just a matter of checking the box to make sure that all of the various information points that you can provide to your customers are available in your ads. Next, target potential customers within 20 miles of your dealership. And I mean, I'm not going to, I would assume that you know your local region better than I do, so maybe take a survey of the zip codes of customers that are visiting your dealership, and that might give you an even better sense for what the appropriate geo-target might be for your dealership service or parts advertisements. And then finally, build an effective mobile site and drive customers to it. So if someone has a service issue while they're on the highway, they're going to be on their mobile phone searching for a place to get that repaired close by. So those are great opportunities to win over customers that you might not win over, otherwise. So we want to wrap this up. So we started with the macroeconomic trends that we're seeing in the market. It's a great time to get into online advertising for service and parts. There's increasing queries not only in the various subcategories but for vehicle maintenance overall. So definitely a lot of traffic out there for you to win over. Next, we learned that vehicle shoppers are still going mostly to the national service sites, but that doesn't preclude you from winning more business by using online marketing to drive more awareness for your dealership. And then finally, we went through all the points of how to win more business. So again, remember that the customers are open-minded, so they're receptive to influence. Secondly, they're looking for local businesses, so make sure you have a local presence and can resonate with your customers and your community. And then finally, mobile. Do not overlook mobile as a way to generate new customers that you wouldn't see otherwise. So that about wraps it up. Thank you so much. And I think Eliana is going to give the opportunity to our listeners to ask some questions, and I'd love to hear what you think. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mariana. You had so much information in just a short period of time, so thank you so much for being so thorough. I do want to tell the audience that when Mariana hit upon the mobile aspect, we did a few weeks ago had a cohort of yours, Mariana, Eli Romberg. He actually came on and talked about the best mobile strategies. So if you're interested more on an expanded version of exactly what Mariana was talking about, then check out Eli Romberg's webinar recording. It can be found at dealeruN.com/webinar, and click on the link for our previously recorded webinars, and it's called Google Expert Shares Best Mobile Strategies. Now, before we get to the live question and answer session, Mariana, I do want everyone to know that we did have some people who participated in our Google Plus question of the day, which was, what's your favorite AdWords feature? And Joey Abner wrote in, he likes the integration features between Google Analytics and Google AdWords. So thank you for that, Joey. Raynard Fenster wrote in, the easy-to-use dashboard and revised data availability. And Curtis Natalie wrote in, being able to pinpoint customers in my area that are looking for the specific brands and services I provide. So I want to thank Joey, Raynard, and Curtis for participating in today's poll question on Google+. Thank you so much for that. And now, Mariana, without further ado, are you ready? Because we got some tough questions for you. Okay, and we've already covered the fact that that our listeners are very, very savvy, and they also pull no punches when it comes to questions. So here we go. We have a few minutes with Mariana before we have to let her go. Okay, first questions comes to you from Sarah. She says, how does AdWords performance for fixed ops differ compared to vehicle sales?
That's a really great question, because I think there are quite a few differences that dealers should keep in mind as they kind of get into the space. So some of the points that I showed earlier were that these shoppers have a quicker turnaround, so there's a sense of immediacy for getting service and parts shoppers. And then the second point was that I guess that's not very different. Both on vehicle shopping and on parts and service, we're seeing shoppers search a ton before they make their purchase. So those are some of the behavioral differences. But when it comes down to performance, I would say that we've seen it the CPCs be a little bit more expensive for parts and service I guess, keywords than they are for vehicle shopping. And that's mainly because a lot of these national retail stores have expansive campaigns that cover the country. They've been in the space for a while, so they've been able to garner very good click-through rates and performance. So as a new account, there's kind of a learning curve that you'll have to experience in order to get to the kind of a more optimal CPC level. So I think that's important, but just kind of to balance that out, if you're a dealership, you know your community better than AutoZone or Pep Boys or any of these national retail chains would. So that's your competitive advantage here. So if there are certain aspects, so I'm an Ann Arbor, big Michigan Wolverines fan, so maybe that's some way to kind of tie in with your customers that would be more unique that those competitors might not know. And similarly, make sure that you have keywords for your local geographies. So people tend to search with locally specific keywords, so they're adding their city name, their neighborhood name. Those are great ways to win over kind of relevancy points in the AdWords system. So those are two ways that you can kind of get a little bit ahead of those competitive national retail stores.
Thank you so much for that, Sarah. I hope that helps you out. Our next question comes to you from Marla. Marla, how are you? Good to see you on our show again. Marla asks, in geographically rural areas, do you increase the target area? And then she went on to say, our next largest city center is 86 miles away, and we have less than 1 million people in the entire state of Montana. What would you recommend for Marla to do?
Wow, I think that's not being from Montana.
I know. We have to try and put ourselves there.
But I think, again, maybe look at some of your customer databases, and also do some kind of interviews with your customers and get a sense for, where they're coming from. Are they coming from those bigger cities? Are they willing to make that drive in order to get a better price or get better service? Yeah, so I guess I would definitely use past experience as a way to gauge the geo-target that seems appropriate for that business. And I think, again, this is, I don't know a whole lot about the geography in Montana, but my perception is that there's, plenty of highways there of people driving across the state. So you probably have some good opportunities to win over customers that might be doing cross-country trips and might have a breakdown. And if they can find your dealership on their smartphone, that's a great new customer that you can create.
Yeah, Marla actually wrote back in, and it sounds like she did some searches and some of her agricultural areas, and it's about a 60-mile radius. So for you, Marla, it sounds like somebody who's in your area might very well have to increase their radius, whereas somebody who's in a very populated, city area, 20 miles might be just enough for them too. It might be more than they can handle. Is that what you were trying to get at?
For dealerships in northern New Jersey, like their radiuses are usually only 5 miles because it's such a concentrated area. And once you get to the other side of Manhattan, no one's ever going to drive over 2 bridges to get to their dealership. So it's really all about understanding your location and making the right decisions based on what you know.
Okay, Marla, I hope that helps you out. Our next question comes to us from Stephanie. And Stephanie said, and I believe she was referring to the little maps that you showed that had all of the teardrops in it. She said, so the blue thumbnails aren't just for AdWords Express or Places? Yes, those.
Yeah. There's probably another one. This one. So no, the blue pins are only for the AdWords, the paid ad results. So if you have an AdWords account where you're advertising your business and you have location extensions activated, your business will show up with a blue pin. Whereas all of the other results, the red ones, are the organic search results. So if you only have a Places page and you don't do any AdWords, then you would only have a red pin pop up.
Stephanie, I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much for explaining that. I actually needed that information too. And our next question comes to us from Scott. He says, what kind of this is a tough question. What kind of budget should I set aside for fixed ops compared to what I spend for new car sales? Is there some magic formula? Marianne, what do we tell Scott?
Yeah, again, this is, a dealership-specific type of decision that might be made. But I think there's, you almost have a little bit more opportunity to strategize with your budget on the service side than you might on the vehicle side because you have higher margins. So transmission repairs, for example. I know a lot of dealers who are advertising their transmission replacement and repairs because they can afford it. If they can get their whole week booked for transmission repairs, like they are happy campers. So I guess when you think about your budget, maybe don't think about, okay, I'm going to invest, $10K per month, for service overall. Think about the different types of business that you want to drive to your dealership. I mean, does your dealership need a lot more traffic for oil changes? Maybe, maybe not. If it doesn't, then maybe you don't need to advertise for that as much. In contrast, maybe you do focus more of your budget around some of those higher margin services, and then you can kind of calculate, okay, my dealership can handle, let's say, 10 transmission repairs per week, and I'm willing to pay, up to $20 to get each one of those filled. So you can kind of back into the appropriate numbers based on what type of service you want to drive, and then how much you're willing to pay for that traffic. Hopefully that helps.
Scott, I hope that does help. Mariana, you can put it back on your mugshot. Don't be shy. I know you want people to see what you look like. Okay, a couple more questions before we let you go. This one comes from Joey. No stranger to tough questions, my friend Joey. He says, will there be a similar lead-generating application for fixed ops as the current Google Cars beta in San Francisco?
I have no idea.
They don't let those people at Google know anything until it's out, Joey.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess if anyone does have questions on the Google Cars beta, like that, I wouldn't even call it a beta. It's very much an alpha. So, we have no idea what's going to happen with that even, let alone any other businesses that might be out there. But I would also say that if you sell parts, I would strongly recommend, because I actually didn't include this in the presentation, but listeners, if you're interested in this, please feel free to look into it. So Google has Google Shopping. So I'm sure if you've ever Googled something, I mean, I've Googled this a ton of times. When typed in women's 8.5 black pumps, and you get the search results that have the different types of shoes. The same thing, those same type of product results can be created for your auto parts as well. So if someone types in, Chrysler PT Cruiser 2006 brake pad, I don't know if dealers would actually sell that part individually, but you could have those parts populate through Google Shopping. And if you're interested in that, I would recommend, again, going to the Google AdWords Help Center and looking up product listings, and that'll have all of the information that you'll need to create your listings. You'll use what's called a Merchant Center account, and load up your parts inventory, and then all of that inventory is available for people searching for those products.
That is some cool advice. And you know what else I know a lot of dealers were probably pretty interested in that you said earlier too, was that you found out through research that a lot of dealers aren't putting their parts on their website. I mean, they have cars on their website, but having a parts website, that's a lot more, I think, labor intensive and inventory intensive, and they don't have a parts inventory that somebody can cruise through, on their website or through their website. So is there a way to get the Google Shopping integrated with, I mean, if you do have a parts inventory?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can integrate your Google Shopping into the website, but there might be a way. I've seen that be done for some other, so like for clothing and retail. So there could be a way to do that. I'm not sure. But Google Shopping would be a quick way to just get that inventory out there. And then to kind of address the, yes, I realize getting your inventory online and managing it can take a lot of time and effort, but dealers have such a huge competitive advantage compared to these aftermarket sites in that they have the actual parts that belong to the car. And I mean, if you talk through that with customers, well, do you want the part that actually fits for your car, or do you want the part that almost fits your car? More likely than not, they're going to want the real part. And that's such a compelling kind of value proposition that dealers should keep in mind, because it's kind of a no-brainer as far as a way to get shoppers to pick you over a national site. So if you're on the edge of whether you should put your parts inventory online or not, I say go for it, because I think you have a lot of opportunity to win some kind of smart shoppers online.
Let me tell you, all online shoppers are smart. They're pretty smart. They're pretty savvy now. They're not, I mean, they're trying to save their money. They're being very frugal with their money. They're keeping their cars longer, which means they need more service, so they're pretty, frugal, and they want to make sure that they're, giving out their money, to the right person. They only want to do it once. They want to get the best deal. And if that means, visiting 3 or 4 sites to do it, they're going to do it, And they're always looking for deals. So if you got coupons, wouldn't you say coupons too?
Absolutely, and Google even has, we have what are called offer extensions, which are essentially an online coupon that you can add to your ads as well.
Definitely. Okay, I know we have to let you go real soon. I just want to get to this last question and follow-up question from Marla. So first question from her is, she uses zip codes to search. Is that a trend of the majority of people that do you find, or do most users use their city name, or are people still using radiuses?
I think So I'm not sure if the question is about having zip codes in your keywords or targeting by zip codes.
I
And
think
so
she's talking about targeting. But
targeting.
if she isn't, she'll write back to me any second now. But
Okay. So
oh, she wrote back. She says when she does a search, like for oil change, she'll put oil change 59401. So she uses the zip code when she searches.
Right. Okay. So I think her question is about having the zip codes in the keywords.
Right.
And I would say don't. No, I mean, yes, some searchers will do that, but the volumes aren't high enough to generate enough traffic. And I guess more importantly, the Google search engine translates that zip code into a location. So as long as you have those location names, that'll get that traffic for you. And then as far as targeting on like geo-targeting, highly recommend picking the exact cities versus targeting a radius. And more recently, there's an opportunity to pick zip codes. So I would recommend doing that as well, because when you pick the zip code or the city, it's that much more refined. Whereas the circle, the radius, those have been unreliable because it's not the line of the circle doesn't necessarily accurately reflect where your ads are showing.
Ah, good to know. Okay, I have a question because I'm really interested in Google AdWords. So this is from me, but it's kind of for Marla too. If you have a name of a certain area of a city, but it's not the actual name of the city. So for instance, outside of Chicago, there's a section called Chicagoland, but that's not actually a real city. You know, over here where I live, there's a place called the Main Line, which is made up of a row of cities that go down this one, you know, very well-traveled stretch of road. So a lot of people would shop Main Line because that's what they call it. Would using that, can you put that kind of a term into Google AdWords?
Absolutely. Without a doubt, you know, again, so I went to school in Chicago, so very familiar with Chicagoland, so I'll stick with that term. So make sure, you know, when you're building your campaigns, you should have keywords, so oil change Chicago, oil change Evanston, oil change Lake Forest, Naperville, Wheaton, whatever, and then make sure you also have oil change Chicagoland, because again, that just goes to the kind of local smarts that you have compared to those national retailers that can give you a little bit of edge when it comes to the relevancy metrics when positioning your ads.
Agreed. Okay. Last question before I let you go and close up this show. And Grant, thank you for your words. Marla had a follow-up question. She said, "Is there a department I could call at Google about the merchant account and Google Shopping?" So I don't know if is there a number?
I'm not entirely sure. I think if you go, so you can go to Google Merchant Center, and there's kind of a help center, and that probably would have that information. As far as, you know, if there's a phone number or something. I apologize. I don't work on those products too frequently, so I'm not sure exactly about the service logistics for those.
Google's all about the email, though. They don't call people, do they? That's how technology, and I know, that's how technology companies work. But there is, so you can go to Google AdWords, and there's a account help feature there, right?
Yep, there's a chat feature, there's the email feature. So you can try those, but the Merchant Center might have its own kind of portal, which is why I recommended going to the Google Merchant Center, because that might have Merchant Center specific support.
Ah, okay. Marla's very happy with that answer. She said that works, and thank you very much. So thank you, Mariana. That was Spectacular, yay! That was a great presentation. And we are past the top of the hour, so any questions that weren't answered during the time allotted, we're going to answer by email directly later today. Thank you so much to our presenter. She did a fabulous job, and I want to remind the audience that a link to download a copy of today's webinar recording is going to be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with friends and colleagues. And today's webinar is also going to be posted online within 24 hours. All you have to do is go to DEALERUN.com/webinars, and there you can view our upcoming webinar schedule too, and access any of our past webinars as well. Also, at the conclusion of this webinar, you're going to receive a short survey. Please fill it out. We're always looking for quality feedback from our audience. And today we're going to randomly select some winners from all the completed surveys to also win some Google swag. And invitations are going to be going out tomorrow for next week's webinar. Right, Mariana?
Yes.
How to take control of your dealership's online reputation and outshine your competition. And I got to tell you, we've been wanting to do a webinar about online reputation management for a while now. And Dennis Colome, he's the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Xterra's Auto. He is a true expert on the matter, and he is going to be here to speak about it next week. So this is going to be great for everyone who knows that your online reputation, well, you only get one chance to make a first impression. A lot of times your first impression is the one they see online. So I recommend you come to our webinar next week and learn about your online reputation and how to take control of it before a disgruntled customer does it for you. And don't forget, it's going to be another can't-miss presentation by your friends at DEALERUN. And our weekly webinars are held every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. And we have some really great webinar subjects planned for this year, but if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding these webinars and our topics, please feel free to contact me directly. My name is Eliana Raggio. I love hearing from you, so track me down online or email me at eliana@dealerun.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on a future webinar in our continuing education series. Have yourselves a good one.